D-Day, June 6, 1944, was a turning point in World War II, marking the start of the Allied liberation of Western Europe from Nazi control through the largest amphibious invasion in history. Now, although there's hundreds of sites memorializing the events and battles along the 50-mile front of the Normandy coast of northern France, if you have just one full day in a car, you can still get a good feel for the magnitude of what happened on that momentous day over 80 years ago. In this video, I'll give you D-Day in a day, by showing you around significant sites that give a comprehensive look at what these brave men did to help save Western civilization from the existential threat of Nazi Germany. Now, a quick note on the itinerary. This is set up to have as little backtracking as possible and to keep travel times manageable, but it can certainly be done in whatever order works best for you. Pointe du Hoc is an ideal place to begin the route. It's a dramatic clifftop situated between the two places designated as U.S. D-Day landing sites, Utah and Omaha Beaches. The land of the point still bears the scars of war. Massive craters and shattered bunkers tell the story of the relentless shelling of U.S. battleships and the U.S. Army Rangers who scaled these 100-foot cliffs under relentless German fire. Their mission was to take out heavy artillery that could have threatened the landings at Omaha and Utah beaches. As you walk among the ruins, the sheer scale of their challenge is breathtaking. Cliffs plunge into the sea below, a stark reminder of the bravery it took to climb them under fire. Within a 15-minute drive of Pointe du Hoc is the German military cemetery of La Cambe. This is one of 6 German cemeteries created in the aftermath of the battles of the Normandy campaign. It contains the graves of over 21,000 German soldiers. At its center stands a large mound topped with a cross, containing the remains of nearly 300 unknown German soldiers. Now, unlike Allied cemeteries, which are filled with white headstones and flowers, La Cambe's darker aesthetic reflects Germany's post-war remembrance and reconciliation philosophy. A walk around the grounds and a look at the grave markers is a sobering reminder that most of the men who died fighting were under 20 years old, and most likely had little choice or control over why they were there. From there, drive the 15 minutes or so to Omaha Beach. Stepping onto Omaha Beach, it's hard to reconcile its unassuming shores with the carnage of June 6, 1944. This was the bloodiest landing site where American troops of the 1st and 29th Infantry Divisions faced withering machine gun fire and brutal resistance. Over 2,000 men died here in just the first few hours of the invasion. Yet against all odds, the beachhead was secured. Of course, when the landings occurred, it was low tide, making the beach much wider. My visit, however, happened to coincide with high tide, so the beach was pretty much entirely covered with water. The Le Brave Memorial is a striking metal sculpture rising from the sand and surf, which honors the courage of these men. Close your eyes, listen to the waves, and try to imagine the deafening roar of war that once echoed here. A short 10-minute drive will then bring you to the Normandy American Cemetery. Just above Omaha Beach, in Colleville-sur-Mer, stands one of the most moving places in Normandy, the Normandy American Cemetery. Nearly 10,000 white marble crosses and stars of David stretch as far as the eye can see, marking the final resting places of those Americans who gave their lives for freedom. The Visitor Center has a small but excellent museum, providing personal stories, photographs, and letters from soldiers, making their sacrifices deeply personal. Now, although there's many museums in the areas near the D-Day beaches, we chose to visit the Overlord Museum, just outside the main gate of the American Cemetery. It was excellent. It had great descriptions in both English and French, and was super well put together. It displayed an incredible collection of real military vehicles, uniforms, and gear from both the Allies and the Axis, all set up in life-size scenes that made history feel real. The exhibits dove into the planning behind the invasion, what soldiers and locals went through, and just how massive the whole operation was. With interactive displays and personal stories, the museum gave a powerful look at the sacrifices made and why this battle was such a game changer in World War II. Just a note, this museum is one of 2 stops on this itinerary for which there is an admission charge. In this case, €9.50 for adults. From here, you can drive another 10 minutes or so to the German gun battery at Longueuil-sur-Mer, one of the best preserved coastal defense sites from World War II. It features 4 original 152mm naval guns still in their concrete casemates, giving you a real sense of the German fortifications that once defended the Normandy coastline. Positioned on a cliff between Omaha and Gold Beach, it played a key role in the D-Day landings. Unlike some other battle sites, the majority of the batteries remain intact though, making it a fascinating stop for history buffs and casual visitors alike. From here, drive another 10 minutes or so to Arrow-Marche. Now, the battle didn't end on the beaches. It had only begun, and the Allies needed a way to supply their advancing troops, and Arrow-Marche played a crucial role. Here at Gold Beach, British forces landed and secured the area on D-Day. Then in the following weeks, they constructed the Mulberry Harbor, which was an incredible feat of engineering. Giant hollow floating concrete caissons called phoenixes were towed across the English Channel to form a massive artificial harbor that allowed deep water ships to dock and rapidly unload tanks, supplies, and reinforcements. Even today, you can see the remains of the Phoenix caissons scattered along the shore and out in the harbor. And displayed in many places around the area of Arrow-Marche, you'll also see the other components of the Mulberry Harbor displayed, especially the floating road structures called whales that were once supported by pontoons and allowed vehicles and cargo to be brought to shore from the harbor caissons. Arrow-Marche is also a lovely town to look around, shop, and get lunch or a snack. From Arrow-Marche, drive the 25 minutes or so to the Juno Beach Center. The Canadian forces stormed Juno Beach, facing fierce German defenses and high casualties. The Juno Beach Center is a modern museum telling the often overlooked story of Canada's role in the war. Exhibits showcase personal artifacts, video testimonies, and interactive displays. Step outside onto the sand where Canadian soldiers advanced through obstacles and enemy fire, through bunkers, and you'll see where they secured a vital foothold for the Allies. It's a powerful tribute to the 14,000 Canadian troops who landed here, many of whom never returned home. The museum has an admission charge as well. For adults, it's €8.50, but it's free to walk around the grounds and the beach. Now from there, it's a short 10-minute drive to the final stop, Beny-sur-Mer, home of the Canadian War Cemetery. And here lies over 2,000 Canadian soldiers who fell on D-Day and in the early days of the Normandy campaign. Now, I have a longer, more detailed video specifically on the Juno Beach Center and the Canada Cemetery. If you're interested, be sure to check it out. There's a link in the description. Now, although this is far from a fully comprehensive look at every D-Day site, consider using this itinerary if you only have a day, or traveling with younger children, or even with adults who only have a casual interest in D-Day. This plan will keep your total driving time under 2 hours, experience many of the key moments and sights of D-Day, as well as remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice. It'll take you on a powerful journey that really brings history to life. Thanks for tuning in. If you found this valuable, a subscribe is sincerely appreciated and helps me to continue the channel.